This coin has been called Japan's most cursed coin because it's believed to have the power to trap spirits. But that might not be the scariest part of this coin. There are plenty of urban legends about coins. From wishing on a penny that lands on its edge, to avoiding walking under a ladder while holding a 4-leaf clover in your pocket. But today, we're going to talk about one of the strangest coins ever produced by a national mint. This is the final farewell of a dying nation. In June of 2017, a British man was visiting Japan when he came across an ancient-looking coin in his hotel room. He had no idea that it would change his life forever. At first glance, it looks like a normal Japanese coin, with figures etched into both sides. On one side, there's what appears to be a winged lion, but if you look closely, you can see that it doesn't really have any wings. The other side shows two people who appear to be lovers embracing. If you didn't know anything else about the coin, you might assume that it was just another strange artifact of Japanese culture, and you wouldn't be too far off the mark. But this coin is much older than you think. It's so old, in fact, that it comes from a time before Japan was even Japan. Instead of being minted by the Bank of Japan, it was made during the 13th century, during the reign of the Kamakura shogunate. It's one of only 29 known coins to have survived all these years, and that makes it extremely valuable. When the British tourist took it to a professional coin dealer, he was told that it could fetch as much as £10,000 at auction. So he put it up for sale online. But something strange happened before the bidding ended. The listing was taken down and the coin was never seen again. There are rumors that it was stolen, but nobody knows for sure what happened. It is possible that the seller simply changed their mind about parting ways with such a rare artifact. After all, it's not every day that you find a medieval coin lying around. But others say that he listed the coin online a second time, but it vanished again before the auction ended. Nobody knows where this coin is today or who possesses it, and that might be the least interesting thing about it. Now let us go back to the beginning and talk about why it has been called the most cursed coin in the world. Before we get into the legend behind the coin, let's take a closer look at its design. Unlike modern coins, which feature photographic images, the faces on this coin are clearly hand-drawn. They were likely based on existing artworks from the time period, but they aren't particularly realistic. Take a close look at the figure on the front. Does it look like a lion to you? Maybe it looks more like a dog or maybe even a monkey. In reality, it's supposed to be a mythical creature called the Garuda. According to Hindu mythology, the Garuda is the mount or vehicle of the god Vishnu. It takes the form of a giant bird with a human face, and it's said to be able to fly through the sky at incredible speeds. For those of you who are well versed in Asian mythology, the Garuda is essentially the equivalent of a griffin. These creatures are said to be incredibly powerful, and they often appear in ancient artworks. They were commonly used as symbols of wealth, power, and good fortune. So it makes sense that they would be featured prominently on a rare ancient coin. But what about the figure on the back? What does it mean for two people to embrace on the back of a medieval coin? You might think it's just a romantic symbol, but you would be wrong. These two people aren't lovers. Instead, the male figure represents a living person, while the female figure represents a spirit. They are not embracing out of love, but because the man is trying to trap the woman. In Japanese folklore, the only way to trap a spirit is to capture its soul and then seal it within a physical object. That's why you'll often hear about haunted dolls or haunted masks. By trapping the spirit inside the object, it becomes impossible for them to move on to the afterlife. They are forced to live out the remainder of their existence as prisoners. Some believe that this coin was designed as a way to trap evil spirits. Back in the Middle Ages, Japan was a very superstitious place. They believed that evil spirits could possess people and cause them to act in unnatural ways. They also believed that these spirits could bring bad luck to entire communities. So it was in their best interest to do whatever they could to keep them away. Some historians believe that the coin was designed as a form of protection against evil spirits. Others believe that it was actually meant to attract good spirits. Regardless of its true purpose, it's clear that the people who made the coin believed that it had the power to influence the spiritual world. There are many stories about coins that have been passed down through generations. from lucky pennies to haunted quarters. But this is the only coin that I know of that was specifically designed to trap a spirit. Let me know in the comments if you know of any others. But one thing is for sure, the spirit on this coin isn't the only one that it's trapped. Let us go back to the story of the British man who found this coin in his hotel room. Remember how he listed it online but it disappeared before the auction ended? Some say that it was stolen, but there is another explanation. The man later told the police that he had received several mysterious phone calls from unknown numbers. He ignored them at first, but then they started showing up in his hotel room in the middle of the night. When he finally picked up the phone, all he heard was heavy breathing on the other end. Then the line went dead. He tried to dismiss it as a prank call, but it happened several times over the next few days. He even started receiving text messages from unknown numbers. All of them said the same thing: stop the auction. Scared, he canceled the listing and decided to go home. But the harassment didn't stop there. He started seeing strange figures in his peripheral vision and hearing whispers in the middle of the night. Eventually, he checked himself into a mental hospital where he was diagnosed with acute psychosis. He spent several weeks there before being released, but the haunting didn't stop there. Even after he got home, he continued to receive phone calls and text messages. To this day, he doesn't know who was behind the attacks, but some believe that it was the spirit of the woman on the coin. If she wasn't already trapped inside the coin, she somehow managed to escape and then possessed him. This is a common theme in Japanese ghost stories. Ghosts often possess people and drive them to insanity. Sometimes they do it for revenge, sometimes they do it for love, and sometimes they do it just for fun. Whatever the reason, the result is always the same: tragedy. One of the most famous examples of this happened in 1998. A young woman named Naomi Omagari began experiencing strange symptoms. She couldn't control her body, and she often found herself speaking in a strange voice. Eventually, she was diagnosed with schizophrenia, but as her condition worsened, it became clear that there was something else going on. One day, she tried to harm herself, and her family took her to a Buddhist temple to perform an exorcism. To their horror, the priest discovered that she was possessed by not one, but multiple spirits. They drove her around like a puppet and caused her to levitate several feet in the air. It took 40 priests 3 hours to banish the spirits from her body. And even then, she was never quite the same again. So what should you do if you come across a cursed coin like this one? Well, there is no right answer. Some people would be thrilled to own such a rare artifact, while others would be too afraid to touch it. It all depends on your beliefs. If you believe in ghosts, then you should probably steer clear of this coin. But if you don't believe in ghosts, then it could be the perfect addition to your collection. Thank you for watching. Do you believe in ghosts? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe.